My name is Alasdair Quinn. I am at fallingblocks.com. Falling Blocks is my handle on Ravelry, fallingblocks at Gmail, fallingblocks.com. I have just finished writing a book on double knitting, and it is essentially a technique book on all the bizarre things that I've figured out how to do in double knitting, most of which, to the best of my knowledge, have not been documented anywhere else. A quick show and tell. The point of double knitting is that it's reversible, and on the back it is a mirror image in opposite colors of the image on the front. Of course. This is just flat double knitting, starting at the bottom and going all the way around to the other side. It's a pretty basic pattern. It's just time consuming. Double knitting, as you can imagine, being 2 layers, actually takes maybe not quite twice as long, but longer than normal double knitting. It's related in some way to ribbing, in that you have to change the direction your yarn, or the side of the work your yarn is on with every single stitch. That may get a little tedious, but you get used to it. The other thing that should be noted about this fabric is, I'm not going to drag it on the floor, is that it's hollow. The spaces between color changes, so let's say this space, for example, can be separated. Kind of see that. So flat double knitting can only take you so far. The next thing to do is to try to do it in the round. These cute little things, wrist warmers. Simplest thing in my book. They just, I call them wrist chakra. They are wrist warmers. But if you get tired just doing tubes, you go on to hats. This isn't in the book. It's just a thing I was playing with. But, yes, okay, I'll turn it inside out. It's reversible. This, however, is in the book.
Oh, really? So people don't have to buy it from Twist anymore?
They don't have to buy it from Twist anymore unless they want to, yes. But I've also expanded the pattern a little bit. There are 2 different bands, 1 different compass, and 2 different closures. 1 different compass. There are now 2 different compasses. I'll show you, this is the other, the other of all 3. So we have the compass, which actually has compass letters on it. The difference between the 2 compasses is that this one now uses increasing and decreasing to make the points pointy as opposed to jagged. See the difference? Now, this segues into the next step in double knitting for me, to pattern work. This actually illustrates a problem with double knitting. Since the other side is mirror imaged, a letter done in double knitting will look like a mirror image letter on the other side. This can be a problem if you want readability on both sides. So I figured out a way to do 2 pattern double knitting so that the N is an N on the other side, the S is an S on the other side. Cool. But the E and the W need to switch places. So the E and W are opposite. So the other side is also an orientable compass.
Nice.
In the correct orientation. So this is called structure. It's a hat with 3 colors. This is actually the 4-sided crown that I was telling you about just a minute ago that is nicely dome-shaped because of where the decreases are. They're only from here to here, but then they're also here and here. They stop and then they switch here. continuing with the increasing and decreasing, I decided to go all out and make a necktie
Wow.
with spirals on it, which essentially barely even looks like knitting anymore.
I want to see you tie that around your neck.
Okay.
That's amazing.
That's because he doesn't know how to tie a tie, he knows how to knit. How many stitches per inch there?
9. 9 stitches to the inch.
Not bad. So is that out of like a sock weight yarn?
Yes, this is Crystal Palace Panda Silk.
Oh. Oh, you stole my heart. Yes.
It's a little thick in the knot because it's a little thicker than a normal tie. That's no big surprise. This is a box that has an integrated lid, built-in hinges, and the worst thing about it is I really hate felting my work because I like the stitch definition. I knit this on Lamb's Pride Bulky on 4s.
Wow.
I broke one set of needles and I have to take a rest every maybe hour. I'm encouraging people to modify my designs as they want, to use different yarn, different needles, get the gauge they need. Gauge swatch always. You need to in double knitting, until you're really confident. So then, I decided to use the technique I used for the hinges on these boxes. I call it a lock purl and a lock knit. I don't know if those actual techniques exist anywhere else, but essentially you are taking both ends of the yarn, knitting both loops of the pair together with both ends of the yarn. It locks it together, but still creates another pair. And depending on which direction you do it and how you orient them, you end up with a fold in one direction or the other. But if you do lots of lock purls and lock knits together, you end up with something like garter stitch or, essentially you get this. This is, I call them footsies, they're baby booties. This is the left one. And on the bottom,
Aww.
these are both in the book, yes. This will probably be the first thing I rework as a pattern to make more sizes. This itself is just fun.
It needs an adult size.
You are not
Because
the
I'm not
first
going
person to say
rip
that.
them off and lose them in the mall.
Right.
Because that's what babies do.
Right.
They do, they do.
They grow fast too.
So, 2 more things. First of all, double knit cables. They have some limitations. This
They're probably not very stretchy.
is pretty stretchy. It's not too bad. I wear this hat, not this hat, but I wear another one of the same, another one that I knit. I had a sample to work on.
What does it look like inside out?
That was inside out.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, I don't know which side is which thing. The magnum opus of my book. 4-color.
From the book cover?
I don't know what's
Ooh.
4-color, 2 patterns, self-lining, seamless shoulder bag. No sewing, just lots and lots of end weaving. The other side of it is all white, but the texture is where it's really interesting. So you probably wouldn't turn this inside out, but maybe you would.
Then what made your inside color be?
Well, your buttons are on the inside, for one thing.
That's easy. You just sew
Yeah.
you just sew
That's
much on
actually
each
on the
side.
other side, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's like a reversible cup.
We can do.
so I leave that up to people that knit it. this one, you start off on the bottom. This, as I said, is the last pattern in my book. It is probably the craziest thing that I've knit. It takes, it doesn't take forever. It actually is not that difficult to knit. It's just some really bizarre techniques. Once you get those techniques down, it's not that big of a deal. The book is with my publisher now. There is still proofreading and tech editing and layout stuff to do. It should be out this fall. If you'd like to find out before anybody else when it's ready for pre-order, fallingblogs.com.